afternoon, and welcome to Wine and Words Wednesday. Today we are celebrating the dog days of summer with some dog-themed poems. So you can enjoy these with your dog or with your cat, or by yourself, or with your favorite glass of wine. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Wine and Words Wednesday and the dog days of summer. The first poem is called The Dog by Ogden Nash. The truth I do not stretch or shove when I state that the dog is full of love. I've also found by actual test a wet dog is the lovingest. That is The Dog by Ogden Nash. Our next poem is called The New Dog by Linda Paston. Into the gravity of my life, the serious ceremonies of polish and paper and pen, has come this manic animal, whose innocent disruptions make nonsense of my old simplicities, as if I needed him to prove again that after all the careful planning, anything can happen. That was The New Dog by Linda Paston. Dog Around the Block by E.B. White. Dog around the block, sniff, hydrant sniffing, corner grating, sniffing, always starting forward, backward, dragging, sniffing backward, leash at taut, leash at dangle, leash in people's feet entangle, sniffing dog, appraised of smellings, love of life and fronts of dwellings, meeting enemies, loving old acquaintance, sniff, sniffing hydrant for reminders, leg against the wall, raise, leaving grating, corner greeting, chance for meeting, sniff, meeting, meeting telling, news of smelling, nose to tail, tail to nose, rigid, careful, pose, liking, partly liking, hating, then another hydrant grating, leash at taut, leash at dangle, tangle, sniff, untangle, dog around the block, sniff. The next poem is called The Dogs at Live Oak Beach, Santa Cruz by Alicia Ostreicher. As if there could be a world of absolute innocence in which we forget ourselves. The owners throw sticks and half-balled tennis balls toward the surf, and the happy dogs leap after them as if catapulted. Black dogs, tan dogs, tubes of glorious muscle, pursuing pleasure more than obedience. They race, skid to a halt in the wet sand. Sometimes they'll plunge straight into the foaming breakers, like diving birds letting the green turbulence toss them until they snap and sink. Teeth into floating wood, then bound back to their owners, shining wet with passionate speed, for nothing, for absolutely nothing but joy. That was The Dogs at Live Oak Beach, Santa Cruz. Our next poem is called A Dog Has Died by Pablo Neruda, and this was translated by Alfred Yankuter. My dog has died. I buried him in the garden next to a rusted old machine. Someday I'll join him right there. But now he's gone with his shaggy coat, his bad manners and his cold nose. And I, the materialist who never believed in any promised heaven in the sky, for any human being, I believe in a heaven I'll never enter. Yes, I believe in a heaven for all dogdom, where my dog waits for my arrival, waving his fan tail in friendship. I'll not speak of sadness here on earth, of having lost a companion who was never servile. His friendship for me, like that of a porcupine, withholding its authority, was the friendship of a star, aloof, with no more intimacy than was called for, with no exaggerations. He never climbed all over my clothes, filling me full of his hair or his mange. He never rubbed up against my knee, like other dogs obsessed with sex. No, my dog used to gaze at me, paying me the attention I need, the attention required to make a vain person like me understand that being a dog, he was wasting time. But with those eyes, so much purer than mine, he'd keep on gazing at me with a look that reserved for me alone all his sweet and shaggy life, always near me, never troubling me, and asking for nothing. Ay, how many times have I envied his tail as we walked together on the shores of the sea, in the lonely winter of Isle Negra, where the wintering birds filled the sky and my hairy dog was jumping about, full of the voltage of the sea's movement, my wandering dog sniffing away with his golden tail held high, face to face with the ocean's spray. Joyful, 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 as only dogs know how to be happy with only the autonomy of their shameless spirit. There are no goodbyes for my dog who has died, and we don't know now and never did lie to each other. So now he's gone and I buried him, and that's all there is to it. The next poem is called Oracle of the Dog. Only the dog knows why the moon floats down the night his raucous tune, is urgent with the thing he fears, but falls on unbelieving ears. If we had only learned to speak the tongue of dogs instead of Greek, we should be better schooled to fight the spells and portents of the night. Now, at the coming of the dark, young fools adrift in street and park yield to an epidemic swoon, abuse the dog, and praise the moon. That poem was Oracle of the Dog. Our next dog-themed poem for the dog days of summer is called Bad Dogs for Art Stringer. This poem is by David Graham. Oh yes, they were bad, my childhood dogs. Crinkled pets of the family album with their names and nicknames, impossible as fleas how they fled behind our green sofas, where the cunning, honored for centuries on bad blood and bone, they tore one idea from the next. In my wallet, Lassie guarded baseball cards and a Christmas dollar, famous photo for postage and handling, and her weekly takes I could not show to Dandy, Flasher, Spade, and Sniffy, who knew nothing better than our smell and put nose prints on our bird brain windows. Yes, worse than brutal fun, how my dogged brother and I harnessed our bikes with paired spaniels to pull our weight at a stern word. Yukon King reran 500 Saturdays, his limited missions. We invented trials no hero would fathom. Baby dresses, grapes, soaked in gravy, sticks pantomimed into the snapping air. They saved us from something human. How they refused breeding to our silly pedigrees. And the merest chirp of birdsong harried in unison the flushing weeds like brutal, exuberant owners. Our next dog poem is called If Feeling Isn't In It. This is my personal favorite of all the poems that we're sharing today. This is called If Feeling Isn't In It by John Brehm. Dogs will also lick your face if you let them. Their bodies will shiver with happiness. A simple walk in the park is just about the height of contentment for them, followed by a bowl of food, a bowl of water, a place to curl up and sleep, someone to scratch them where they can't reach, and smooth their foreheads and talk to them. Dogs also have a natural dislike of mailmen and other bringers of bad news, and will bite them on your behalf. Dogs can smell fear, and also love with perfect accuracy. There is no use pretending with them, nor do they pretend. If a dog is happy or sad or nervous or bored or ashamed or sunk in contemplation, everybody knows it. They make no secret of themselves. You can even tell what they're dreaming about by the way their legs jerk and try to run on the slippery ground of sleep. Nor are they given to pretentious self-importance. They don't try to impress you with how serious or sensitive they are. They just feel everything full blast. Everything is off the charts with them. More than once, I've seen a dog waiting for its owner outside a cafe practically implode with worry. Oh God, what if she doesn't come back this time? What will I do? Who will take care of me? I loved her so much and now she's gone and I'm tied to a post surrounded by people who don't look or smell or sound like her at all. And when she does come, what a flurry of commotion, what a chorus of yelping and cooing and leaps straight up into the air. It's almost unbearable, this sudden fullness after such total loss. To see the world made whole again by a hand on the shoulder and a voice like no other. Dog Music by Paul Zimmer. Amongst dogs are listeners and singers. My big dog sang with me so purely, puckering her ruffled lips into an O, beginning with small swallowing sounds like Coltrane musing, then rising to power and resonance, gulping air to continue, her passion and sense of flawless form, singing not with me, but for the art of dogs. We joined in many fine songs, Stardust, The Trout, The Rosary, Perdito. She was a great master and died young, leaving me with unrelieved grief, her talents known to only a few. Now I have a small dog who does not sing, but listens with discernment, requiring skill and spirit in my falsetto voice. I sing her name in words of love, andante con brio, vivace adagio. Sometimes she is so moved she turns to place a paw across her snout, closes her eyes, singing like a girl I held and danced with years ago. But I am a pretender to dog music. The true strains rise only from the rich red chambers of a canine heart. These melodies best when the moon is up, listeners and singers together or apart beyond friendship and anger, far from any human impostor. Ballads of long nights lifting to starlight, songs of bones, turds, conquest hunts, smells, rankings, things settled long before our birth. And our last selection today, A Dog is a Dog by T.S. Eliot. Now dogs pretend they like to fight. They often bark, more seldom bite. But yet a dog is, on the whole, what you would call a simple soul. Of course I'm not including Pekkas and such fantastic canine freaks. The usual dog about the town is much inclined to play the clown, and far from showing too much pride, is frequently undignified. He's very easily taken in. Just chunk him underneath the chin. or slap his back or shake his paw, and he will gambol and guffaw. He's such an easy-going lout, he'll answer any hail or shout. Again, I must remind you that a dog's a dog, a cat's a cat. Thank you so much for joining me today for the Dog Days of Summer edition of Wine and Words Wednesday. We'll see you again next month. And don't forget, if you love dogs, come to our pet night, which is next Thursday evening. You can get more information right here on our website. Our pet night is how to be a great pet parent. It is sponsored by a local veterinary office. You can get some great information on how to be a great pet parent to your dog or cat. And that is going to be next Thursday night in a local park. So get that information right here on our website and enjoy the rest of the dog days of summer with your favorite pet. Thanks. Bye.